The gorilla wouldn't leave her alone. For weeks, he followed her every move, sniffing frantically at the glass. When they finally understood what he was trying to tell them, her hands started shaking. Before you watch, remember to like and subscribe so you don't miss another touching story like this one. And write in the comments where you're watching from and what time it is there. Sarah Chen froze at the entrance to the gorilla habitat. Jabari was pressed against the glass barrier, staring directly at her. Not casually, not the way he looked at other keepers. His entire body was tense, his eyes locked on her face with an intensity she'd never seen before. "Jabari?" she said uncertainly. "You okay?" The 15-year-old silverback didn't move, didn't blink, just stared. Then he started sniffing, rapid, urgent breaths, his nostrils flaring as if trying to catch a scent through the barrier. Sarah stepped closer, concerned. Jabari had been at the sanctuary for 10 years. He was gentle, calm, showed no preference for any keeper. But this was different. The gorilla pressed his face completely to the glass, sniffing frantically, his eyes never leaving hers. "That's weird," her colleague Marcus said, walking up behind her. "I've never seen him do that." Neither had Sarah. In 3 years of working with Jabari, she'd never witnessed this behavior. He painted landscapes as enrichment, interacted pleasantly with all staff, and spent his days peacefully with the other gorillas. But now he looked almost desperate. "Maybe he's not feeling well?" Sarah suggested. "He looks fine physically," Marcus said. "Just obsessed with you." Sarah tried to continue her morning rounds, but Jabari followed her along the glass barrier, keeping pace, never taking his eyes off her. When she disappeared into the staff building, she could see him through the window, pacing restlessly, looking toward where she'd gone. The next day it happened again, and the day after, that. By day 4, the pattern was impossible to ignore. Jabari spent every moment Sarah was visible tracking her movements. When she entered the observation area, he was immediately at the glass. When she walked past his outdoor enclosure, he followed along the fence line. When she disappeared from view, he paced. The urgent sniffing continued every time she came close. His face pressed to the glass, nostrils working, eyes locked on hers with that desperate intensity. "Sarah, this isn't normal," Marcus said during their morning break. "Jabari barely acknowledges me anymore, but he won't look away from you." Sarah knew he was right. The behavior was escalating. Week 2 brought changes that alarmed everyone. Day 8, Jabari stopped painting entirely. His easel sat untouched in the corner of his enclosure, the brushes he'd used every day for 3 years now abandoned. Staff tried offering him fresh canvases, new colors. He ignored everything. Day 9, he stopped, engaging with the other gorillas. When the young male Keto approached for their usual morning grooming session, Jabari simply turned away, returning to his position at the glass barrier, waiting for Sarah. Day 10, the eating changes became obvious. Jabari would accept food, but only pick at it. He'd take a few bites, then abandon the meal to return to watching for Sarah. He was losing weight. "This is becoming a health concern," Dr. Martinez said during an emergency staff meeting on day 12. "He's not eating properly. He's not sleeping. He's abandoning all normal behaviors. All he does is wait for Sarah," David added. "I've never seen fixation like this." "And that sound," another keeper said. "That vocalization he makes when she's near. It's not territorial. It's not mating behavior. I can't identify it at all." Sarah had been avoiding the question everyone was dancing around, but she couldn't anymore. "You all think something's wrong with me, don't you?" The silence that followed was answer enough. Dr. Martinez spoke carefully. "The sniffing behavior, that's detection behavior. Gorillas have an olfactory sense significantly more developed than ours. They can detect chemical changes, hormonal shifts, Metabolic changes that we can't perceive? There are documented cases, David said quietly. Dogs detecting cancer before symptoms appear, cats lying on tumor sites months before diagnosis, even birds becoming agitated around sick owners. Gorillas are more intelligent than any of those animals, Dr. Martinez added, and Jabari's behavior isn't random obsession. It's focused, urgent, consistent. He's trying to communicate something. Sarah felt her stomach drop. But I feel fine, completely healthy. Most early-stage illnesses don't have symptoms, Dr. Martinez said gently. That's what makes them dangerous. By the time you feel sick, it's often progressed significantly. She leaned forward. Sarah, I want you to get a full medical workup. Please, if only to rule things out. Sarah wanted to argue, but looking around the room at her colleagues' worried faces, thinking about Jabari's desperate behavior, the urgent eyes, the constant monitoring, the frantic sniffing, it was impossible to dismiss. Okay, she said quietly, I'll make an appointment. Over the next 2 days, while Sarah waited for her medical appointment, Jabari's behavior reached a peak of intensity. Day 14, night staff reported he wasn't sleeping at all. Security footage showed him sitting at the glass barrier throughout the night, facing the direction of the staff building, waiting. His eyes never closed. Day 15, when Sarah arrived for her morning shift, Jabari was already positioned at the glass. But his appearance shocked her. His eyes were bloodshot from lack of sleep. His movements seemed slower, exhausted. Jabari, she said, approaching the barrier, you're making yourself sick. The gorilla pressed both hands to the glass, and the urgent vocalization grew louder, more insistent, almost pleading. Sarah pressed her hands to match his. I'm going to the doctor today, right now. Is that what you want? Jabari's vocalization stopped immediately. He just stared at her with those exhausted, desperate eyes. Okay, Sarah whispered, tears gathering in her eyes. I'm listening to you. I promise. The medical center ran every test Dr. Martinez had requested. Blood work came back normal. Chest X-ray was clear. Physical exam revealed nothing concerning. Everything looks good, the doctor said, reviewing the results. I don't see any issues. Sarah felt relief washing through her. See? She was fine. Jabari was just going through some kind of phase. She'd go back, tell him she was okay, and hopefully his behavior would normalize. Wait, the doctor said, frowning at the ultrasound screen. There's something here. The relief evaporated instantly. What do you mean? The doctor adjusted the ultrasound probe, studying the image more closely. A small shadow, right here. She pointed at the screen. It's positioned oddly, partially obscured. I almost missed it. What kind of shadow? Could be nothing. A benign cyst, normal tissue variation. But given that you're here specifically because an animal is showing detection behavior, the doctor looked at her seriously. I'd rather not take chances. I want you to have a CT scan this evening. Sarah's hands started shaking. Sarah sat in the waiting area for the CT scan, her mind racing. She'd called Marcus from the hospital. Jabari's still at the glass, he'd told her. He hasn't moved. It's like he's waiting for you to come back with news. The scan itself took 20 minutes. 20 minutes of lying perfectly still in the machine while it mapped every centimeter of her abdomen. 20 minutes of trying not to think about what they might find. When the radiologist called her back into the consultation room, Sarah knew from her expression. Miss Chen, please sit down. Those 4 words changed everything. The radiologist pulled up the images on her screen, pointing to a dark mass that shouldn't be there. We need to involve oncology immediately, this evening, if possible. Sarah's phone buzzed, a text from Marcus. Jabari just started eating, first time all day. Did something happen? She stared at the message, then at the scan showing the tumor. Jabari had known. Somehow, impossibly, he'd known. The CT scan that evening revealed what the ultrasound had only hinted at. A mass in Sarah's left ovary. 2 centimeters. Irregular borders. Definitely there. "We need to biopsy this immediately," the oncologist said, her voice professional but gentle. "Based on the imaging characteristics and the location, there's significant probability this is malignant." Sarah sat in the examination room, unable to process the words. This morning, she'd felt completely healthy. Now, doctors were using words like malignant and biopsy and oncologist. "How did you find it this early?" the oncologist asked. Ovarian cancer is called the silent killer because there are typically no symptoms until stage 3 or 4. Most patients don't discover it until it's quite advanced. "A gorilla told me," Sarah whispered. The biopsy 3 days later confirmed everyone's worst fears. Ovarian cancer, stage 1B, aggressive type, but caught early enough that surgery would likely remove it completely. "If we'd waited even 6 months," the oncologist explained, "this would be a very different conversation. This type of cancer progresses quickly, but you caught it at the earliest possible stage. With surgery and monitoring, your prognosis is very good. The survival rate is over 90%. Sarah couldn't speak. She just nodded, trying to absorb the information. 6 months. If Jabari hadn't obsessively tried to warn her. If Dr. Martinez hadn't insisted she get checked. 6 months, and she might be dying. She went to see Jabari the day before her surgery was scheduled. The gorilla was at the glass when she arrived. But the moment he saw her, his entire demeanor changed. The frantic urgency was gone. He was still watching her, still attentive, but calm now. Almost peaceful. He approached the glass slowly and sniffed, gently this time, without the desperate intensity of before. Then he pressed his palm to the barrier. Sarah pressed her hand to match his, tears streaming down her face. "You knew," she whispered. "Weeks before any test could find it, before I had any symptoms. You sensed something wrong and you wouldn't stop trying to tell me." Jabari's eyes held hers. There was something in his gaze that looked like relief. "Thank you," Sarah said, her voice breaking. "You saved my life, Jabari. You saved my life by refusing to give up on me." The surgery took place 3 days later. Sarah woke in recovery to Dr. Martinez sitting beside her bed. "The surgery went perfectly," Dr. Martinez said, squeezing her hand. "They removed the tumor completely. Clean margins. No sign of spread. You're going to be okay." Sarah closed her eyes, overwhelmed with relief and gratitude. "How's Jabari?" she asked. Dr. Martinez smiled. "I was there this morning. The change is remarkable. He's eating again, finished his entire breakfast. He went back to his easel and painted for the first time in weeks. And when Keto approached for grooming, Jabari let him." "Really?" It's like whatever was driving that desperate urgency just switched off. The moment you went into surgery, his behavior started normalizing. Sarah felt tears sliding down her cheeks. He knew the danger was being removed. During Sarah's 3-week recovery at home, Dr. Martinez sent daily updates about Jabari. Week 1, sleeping normally again, eating all his meals. Painted 3 landscapes this week. Beautiful work. Very peaceful. Week 2, fully reintegrated with the troop. Playing with the younger gorillas. His weight is back to normal. It's like the past month never happened. Week 3. He goes to the glass every morning and waits for a few minutes, looking toward the staff building. Then he goes about his day. I think he's checking for you. When Sarah finally returned to work, she went straight to Jabari's enclosure, still moving slowly from surgery but determined to see him. The gorilla was at his easel, working on a landscape of trees and mountains. When he saw her, he set down his brush immediately and walked to the glass. But there was no desperation now, no frantic sniffing, no urgent vocalizations. Just calm, peaceful recognition. He pressed his hand to the barrier. Sarah pressed hers to match, crying openly. "I'm okay," she said. "Thanks to you, I'm okay. The cancer's gone. I'm going to live." Jabari's mouth opened slightly, the closest expression gorillas have to a smile. Then, slowly, he returned to his easel and picked up his brush. He continued painting his landscape. Peaceful trees under a bright sky, sunlight breaking through the clouds. Sarah watched him work, finally understanding the full weight of what had happened. He'd sensed danger inside her body. Chemical changes too subtle for any test to detect, and he'd refused to stop warning her until someone listened. Oh, he'd saved her life. Did you enjoy this story? After seeing what Jabari sensed, do you believe animals can detect diseases in humans before medical tests can? Yes or no? Let us know in the comments below. If you like the story, subscribe to this channel and leave a like. Thanks so much for listening. See you in the next video. Have a great day.